Just stabbing him with his tail. I only got 5 left.
Oh, where'd you go?
Ready? Okay, good evening. Welcome to the regular Board of Selectmen's meeting. We are going to have a Board of Assessors meeting. The date is December 19th, 2013. Jim, go ahead with the assessors.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Before you tonight with some abatements. On it's 13, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 total, 12 of which were 2013s and 1 of which is 2012. Okay. First one, the first one and the second one go together. They each have 1/2 undivided interest in a parcel of land, and they each got a bill for the full amount, and brought it to my attention, and then I had to split it because they're tenants in common, so they each have 1/2 interest. So, but the total valuation of this parcel comes to about $128,000, even net of these payments. Okay. The next one is a mobile home, and it was assessed pretty high. It was assessed for about $85,000, which is pretty high. And I think I had thought initially that it was a modular home, but in fact it's not. As it turns out, it's really a mobile home, a double wide. And it had not been depreciated, and the owner brought it to my attention. So I went and depreciated it for the last 3 or 4 years. Okay. And so now it's so it's still assessed fairly handily, but it's certainly not in the $85,000 world. So the next one again is another mobile home that's over assessed, and accounted for some depreciation on it. The next one was these folks sold 35 acres of shorefront and split the land. They just kept the stuff up by the road, but they sold off like I think 1,700 shorefront feet, which was the dominant value of this parcel. All right. And so I kind of missed that as a Jim oops there. But I did assess the new owner. Okay. Well, no, I sent him a bill, but then I kind of went over the top on that. So once he came in and we sat down, we went over the quality of this land. All right, it's much of it is wasteland, hills and gullies, up and down. The shorefront still has good value. And if you go down to the 664. That's his land, his portion that he bought from, he bought it from the other party. And so I had to make some fairly sizable adjustments there to get his assessment in line with other shorefront parcels in the neighborhood. So I went through and did an analysis, and these were the results, okay? So he got the 35 acres. As it turns out, it was really not as quality of shorefront as I thought it might be. But there's a lot of it. The next one is a tax-exempt organization. We discussed that. That land's out in Trescott, Border Cove. They bought it last year. I didn't initially assess it as tax exempt.
Land's not touching.
Thank you. Well, no, it's out in the
Border, not the border.
Border, right.
Wish it were.
I think it was their homestead at one time.
Yeah.
Their homestead.
So, the next one, the garage that burned down, I think it burned. I think maybe our fire department burned it. I'm not sure. Yeah. It was still on. Yeah.
So
The
it's
next
still,
one.
excuse me, Jeff, but
Yeah,
it's still on the tax rolls as open space, right?
it's on the tax rolls as 501c tax exempt.
So we don't,
They're a charitable and benevolent organization, literary / scientific.
so we're not getting any.
So we don't get
No,
any.
not because they're
Zero
university.
zilch.
Right,
They're a federal tax exempt recognized by the state of Maine, 501c,
Okay.
501c, C3, 501c3. Therefore, they are entirely exempt from paying any income tax or real estate or property taxes. That's, I'm actually one of those too, but nobody.
Right. Well, no, I mean, it's just,
You're benevolent.
One
benevolent.
one tries to stay up, Jim, with how many ways you can take a piece of land
Uh-huh.
and take it out of the tax base. And I guess it's like, Russell stole the chocolates, any way you can think of.
Well, whatever works, you know. So,
Wow, okay.
but those are the rules.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well,
Okay, I discussed the one where he bought the shorefront from the party above. You know, Slade bought it from Robinson. And I had to make an adjustment there. But the parcel is still assessed quite high. Yeah, so. But I thought maybe I was
yeah.
losing it here. Okay, so
Well,
I
we're
didn't wanna-
still with you.
Keep going
We're
with the
still
numbers.
with
honey.
it. Okay.
Keep going with the numbers.
garage burned down. 1631 real estate account. Garage burned down September.
Mm.
2012, nobody told me about it, but he did. And unfortunately, after April 1. But apparently, I think we burned it down. Yeah. Building removed prior to 4/1. Now, these three are really weird, okay? Because these are repeats. Each year, for some reason, some inexplicable reason, in spite of my best efforts to go in, like after we're done here, I will go back to the trio system. I will take each one of these and I will go into every one of them, and when I'm done with them, I will put a little tick mark next to them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I staple them all together.
Still having that problem.
Not as bad. But when I saw these three, I'm like, how can this be? How can
I'm sorry,
this be?
Jim, I shouldn't laugh.
Well,
I know, it's.
I don't know if
Keep
it's,
putting them in there.
I don't know
Hang in
if it's
there, Jim.
because of the way the logical unit is hooked up. You know, I'm kind of like one step removed from the server. And I don't know. Sometimes I don't think the.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Anyway.
And then the last one, I went down. This one is down the road by the Legion. He's been working on it. I thought, you know, from the street, I thought it'd come along further than what one might think, you know, or one would think. Looking at it from the street, I'm like, okay, it's time, you know. Well, they called me. They got the bill. They called me. I went out there and went through it inside. And I discovered that it's really not as done as it looks from the outside. Okay. And it doesn't have any heating.
No, the insulation is which side?
Yeah, there's a truck
Doesn't-
insulation
I mean-
outside gives it pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was looking pretty good.
Mhm.
But when I got inside it, you know, the heating system plant's not working. The major systems are not working. The plumbing, the heating, you know, and the interior walls. The upstairs is, he doesn't have a stairway. He has to go up the scaffolding inside. So he's kind of doing it himself. So I reassessed it, and that's the result. But I told him, from next year, I'll be back to look at it again. Okay, the very last one, I went out last year and looked at this and went through it. This was a home-built house. Okay, and I can stand on the floors of this and do, you know, and do this, and I can get both gable ends to vibrate. You know, it was pretty flexible house, to say the least. It's somewhat in need of retrofitting and upgrading and shoring up, actually. And, yeah, I rated it as a poor quality construction. Okay. Versus average. And so I I guess I didn't give the abatement last year, but I think it is due one this year. Okay. Any questions?
I have three.
Okay.
Will you please provide to the select board a written description of the difference between mobile homes and modular homes? Specifically, double-wide mobile homes and double-wide modulars, and why it's necessary to give a abatement on a fairly new one or the other.
Well, this is rated as a mobile home, right? It's a mobile home. They depreciate. They depreciate. They do not appreciate. A modular home would appreciate.
It's
Mobile homes have-
double-wide mobile home.
It's a double-wide mobile home. It has steel frame under it.
Okay, that's where
Comes in
I'm,
on wheels.
Comes in on wheels, and they come in on two parts, and it may sit on a basement, any kind of a foundation.
mhm,
But even though it's sitting on a basement, it's still a mobile home. It's got a steel
right.
girdered frame
So
underneath
a
it.
modular home.
Does not
which
have
is
a-
double-wide, which is brought in on wheels and may sit on, stands on a slab, is not a mobile home, even though it,
No,
that's why
it-
I want the written description. I didn't
I
want to
see.
get into a whole discussion about
Right.
it.
Well,
I see what
it's
it
just
is.
two parts, and they're bolted together, but they sit on a,
I know that.
One's brought in
I
on
know
a
that part.
flatbed drill, and the
Yeah.
trailer is separate from the home, and that's just that, and that's one type. One
Right.
has, the framework comes up, they just take the wheels off underneath and so on.
I'd like to see the,
I think it's the quality of the construction too.
I'd like to see all that.
Yeah.
I think all board members would like to see that. So we know in the future, when you say it's this or it's that, we know.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to get into a big discussion on it.
All right.
Two more points. At the last select board meeting, we talked about reviewing the tax force
Yeah.
for service charges to be levied in view of taxes, in lieu of taxes. Because, that's something that you were going to, John was going to let you know to, answer that, to respond to that.
Who?
John Sutherland was going to tell you
Tell me.
about our last select board meeting regarding the tax exempt review task force
Yeah.
information,
Right,
correct?
yeah, and I did not get a chance to work with Jim on that.
Okay, well,
You got the-
at some point, please do.
Yes.
Excuse me.
And
What
it
is that?
It is a way of balancing out when we have a complete tax exemption on a piece, they still have services that they receive. And they're willing to pay something,
Yeah.
and there's a formula that will be worked out. Your information would be most helpful in creating that formula.
Like what information? They're either tax exempt or they're not. That's the only
No,
information I have.
there's weaknesses starting to show in this, years and years of just giving a tax exemption, in that they should be paying something. There's two legislative bills now before the House to try to decide how to make this work, especially in little towns that have 30% of their
Yeah.
land mass under one form of tax exemption.
Oh, yeah,
or
you
another.
were just telling me about that a week or so ago. I
Yeah,
remember.
but
All right,
I'm
well,
not in the-
obviously,
I'm not in
you
the
need to-
legislature.
I know you're not, but they're asking for your expertise in helping to decide
They're
how to
asking for your
fairly
input.
levy
Oh,
some
okay.
form of tax on that. That's my second.
There used to be
Well-
there always has been the ability to have them voluntarily pay a
Yeah.
service charge.
Yeah, but
But voluntarily use that people get the letter
In
and
lieu of
go.
tax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And my
but what's
final,
about, what's in front of the legislature right now is two proposals actually to make it mandatory, to do some type of contribution to the community that the land is located in. And what we'd like you to do is to look at the information that's pending in the legislature and give John your input on,
Okay.
and then John can report back to the board. And again, keep in mind, we don't know if it'll even pass the legislature, so.
Well,
But I think eventually something will, some form is going to pass,
yeah.
well, if you're going,
because we're all hurting.
starting to go under.
does a legislature contain any formula or algorithms for deciding what a town can
They propose a couple. You would understand them better than I would.
Oh, okay.
John has the information
Okay,
and he needs
right.
to share it with
And
us.
we also had a little discussion before too about talking to you about some other issues along the same lines that you would be
Because
aware
I
of.
think those types of services, you have to be able to tie them to some exchange of value
Right.
between the public sector and the private sector. You have to, and then you set up, so the formula is to derive that for a town like Lubec, you know, how much do you charge somebody as a prorated share for plowing or for,
One of the things is like they have something in southern Maine that there's a lot of land that don't get in land trust down there. For some reason, they have something mechanism, I don't know what you want to call it.
Mm.
Down in that end of town, they're pretty well saying no to these land trusts. But up here, hey, it's like a turkey shoot. And we're making up all this difference. Well, if there's any, that can turn the cards to say, enough already, let's do it.
well, the only,
Well, there's a percentage of value, and our value is high because of the shoreline, and that's part of it. Right?
yeah,
But there's shoreland, I think, right to Kittery.
Yeah, but, well, anyway,
well,
this isn't the time to get into it.
Right.
Okay.
And I have one final comment, which is regarding these, the one, 368 RE, garage, or
Shed.
1631 RE, garage burned down, okay?
yes,
Training burns, done by the fire company, have a very specific set of rules to do it legally. And those are, the shingles must be removed, the vinyl siding must be removed, any tar paper, plastic plumbing, electric wires, vinyl flooring needs to be removed before that structure is legal for a training burn.
yeah.
So burning down a house to get rid of it, to lower your taxes, is illegal, according to the EPA and the fire marshal's office.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what if it's caught on fire by a
That's,
campaign?
well, that's the act of God, Jim. If a house catches on fire, a house catches on fire. But the ones that are just disposed of
Yeah.
Yeah.
that way.
I didn't burn it down.
I didn't
No,
say
neither
you
did
did.
I.
I didn't even
Only-
think that you had a book of matches.
I've only been known to burn one place down.
Oh, don't.
Oh, you didn't have to
Don't,
say
you
that.
don't have to.
Okay, so I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah, well, that's good, but if the thing isn't there April 1, I can't assess it.
I know, it's just,
You know, I mean,
it's
it's
crazy.
either there or
Are
it's
we
not.
insane to just keep burning these places down and pollute?
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
There has to be some consequences.
Yeah, and it's all spelled out in the laws that exist.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not
That's my,
Right.
my comment.
Okay.
that's not the,
Thank you.
Yes.
thing to the assessor.
Okay.
All right, Jim, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, if not, then we will close the assessors meeting and open the selectmen's meeting.
Make a motion, we open the selectmen's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Make a motion, we approve the abatements.
Second.
Any discussion? No? Take a vote. All in favor? Okay, thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Jim.
Good night, Jim,
Good night,
thank
Jim.
you.
And Merry Christmas.
Careful driving home, dear.
When are you in the office again, Jim?
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay now.
Good,
Okay.
glad to
I'm
hear it.
feeling better.
Good to you. That's,
Can you call me? I want to get together with you.
You do?
I mean, whenever you're available.
Monday?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You want to sign these now or wait till afterwards?
Wait till after, there's a lot of them, right?
I'll make a
13.
motion, we sign warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
look at that, so. That's one of
I
those-
know.